10 Unspoken Facts about Digital Transformation. If you want to go through a digital transformation, there are 10 secrets you need to know. What are they, and how do we tell them apart? Here is all the information you need. The digital transformation space offers a lot of chances for your business to make technical improvements, grow, and change in general. But the digital transformation space also has a dark side. 1. The cloud is not always the best option. First of all, most people in the industry think that the cloud is better than on-premises, or that cloud will save you time and money and give you better features. But that's not always the case. A lot of the cloud deployments that companies do end up costing them more in the long run. Part of the reason for this is that the subscription fees are higher when you look at them on an annual basis, and they never go away. In turn, you pay a higher annual fee, even though you might not have to pay as much money upfront as you would with an on-premises solution. Even if you take into account savings on hardware and infrastructure that you no longer need, the total costs may be higher. Keep in mind that it's not just about cost, but also about how well cloud systems work and how mature they are. Some cloud systems are newer than their on-premises counterparts, which have been around for a long time. These well-known solutions have spent money on research and development and added features over a long time. Now, all of a sudden, these software companies are trying to move everything that took them decades to build to the cloud. The truth is that they aren't there yet, especially when you look at things like finances, inventory management, warehouse management, and more that aren't considered core. When we look at things like advanced manufacturing, advanced planning, demand forecasting, or whatever, we often find that cloud ERP systems aren't as mature as their on-premise counterparts. This is especially true when we look at things like advanced manufacturing, advanced planning, demand forecasting, and so on. This isn't to say that you shouldn't use the cloud. Instead, it's to say that if you're going to move to a cloud solution, you need to know that there are cost, maturity, and functional implications. You don't have to move to the cloud at the end of the day. Many software companies still offer on-premises software, or at the very least, on-premises software that you can host in the cloud. Before committing to any one software company, you should make sure you know what your options are. 2. Digital transformation is not linked to business metrics. It is surprising how many top executives are eager to adopt digital strategies simply because it is the new craze, has great PR value, or is what their friends or financial advisors demand. Obviously, these are the worst possible justifications for making the switch to digital. The digital transformation process should have a positive effect on the company's bottom line, as measured by revenue, profit, cost, customer engagement, retention, and subsequent purchases. And, from the get-go, we need to know precisely which metrics we are aiming to alter, and by how much, otherwise, the entire effort will be wasted. 3. An enterprise resource planning system, ERP, system is not always the best option. Another common misunderstanding in the digital transformation space is that having a single ERP system is preferable to having multiple systems. While this may have been true 10 or 20 years ago when architecture and integration were much more complex, it is simply no longer the case. There are numerous options available in the market, and best-of-breed solutions are frequently more powerful and provide a better functional fit than a single ERP system. It's critical to consider your options and recognize that best-of-breed isn't the end of the world. If you have a core ERP system that handles 70% of your needs, it may make sense to plug some of the gaps in that cloud system with best-of-breed solutions. This is especially important given my previous point about cloud systems not being as mature as on-premise solutions. If you're deploying SAP S/4HANA, Microsoft Dynamics 365, or Oracle ERP Cloud, you're more likely to discover flaws that necessitate the use of a best-of-breed solution to fill some of the gaps. This is where organizations and software vendors such as Salesforce and Workday on the CRM and human capital management fronts come in. They really carved out a niche for themselves by offering CRM and HCM capabilities that were superior to those offered by large ERP vendors. At the end of the day, there will always be software vendors out there attempting to pick away at the big ERP vendors, as well as software vendors attempting to do things better than a single ERP system can. Remember that no single ERP system can be everything to everyone, not only across industries and companies but also within your own organization. 4. Digital transformation isn't for small companies. For small businesses, it's not always clear what the benefits of using digital technology are. A young business can grow with the help of digital transformation if they work hard to make their business easier to find. 13% of the companies that took part in an innovation survey said that the most important benefit of digital technology was that it helped them gain and keep customers. Also, as flexible work becomes more popular, cloud-based technologies make it easy to work with employees who want to clock in from home or work outside of regular hours. This means that small businesses have a lot of options. 5. Commercial off-the-shelf (COTS) software isn't always better. Another common misconception in the industry is that commercial off-the-shelf software is superior to custom software. You should certainly use commercial off-the-shelf software where it makes sense, and in many cases, there is plenty of off-the-shelf software available to meet their needs. If your organization is larger or more complex, you could certainly consider custom-developed software or bolt-on applications that you develop to fill in some of the gaps in your off-the-shelf systems. Of course, commercial off-the-shelf software vendors would say, absolutely not, that's a terrible idea, because they want you to buy their software. The reality is that whatever your needs are, you must ensure that you find the right software and technology to meet them, whether it's off-the-shelf or custom-developed. Looking for off-the-shelf software that leverages low-code technologies is one option you have here that's sort of a hybrid solution that takes the best of both worlds. This can be a method of changing and customizing software without affecting the technology's source code. As a result, it can be a good compromise between off-the-shelf software that is less flexible and completely custom-developed software. 6. Digital transformation and digitization are the same things. This is likely the biggest lie that needs to be busted. Digitization and digital transformation are both very important, but they are not the same thing. Digitization is the process of using digital tools and technologies to make something better, faster, and cheaper. So, digitization is about getting things done faster and cheaper. It is backward. It has to do with operational excellence, predictability, and making data easy to find and trust. It is a key part of being able to grow and work well. But it won't turn a business into a digital one. For that, a business needs to be digitally transformed. Digital transformation is a value proposition that focuses on the customer. It is how digital technologies and information can be used to improve an organization's existing assets and abilities to create new customer value. Digital offerings are the solutions that a company uses to deliver its digital value proposition. The most important benefits of digital transformation are higher profits and margins, loyal customers, and the ability to hire the best people, and thus continue to grow. It has to do with business models, the customer experience, and people, culture, and talent. Customer value is the most important thing to deliver. 7. Technologies have outpaced institutional capacities. Another secret of digital transformation is that technology is usually way ahead of what most organizations can use and how they can use it. If you look at some of the new, cutting-edge technologies that are coming out right now, you'll find that they are very cool. It will probably be common in 5 or 10 years, but right now, I'd say that 80% or 90% of the organizations we work with aren't ready to use that kind of technology. Now, this isn't just because they don't have the right skills yet. It's also because they want to make sure that the basic technology landscape is up to date first. Many of our clients have been using the same systems for 20 or 30 years. For example, going from an old green screen mainframe-based system to artificial intelligence is a huge jump that most organizations just can't make in a reasonable amount of time. It's important to keep in mind that all of these new technologies are a part of the future and not to just write them off. You should definitely know what your software vendor can do in some of these areas, even if you aren't ready to use that specific technology yet. However, you don't have to use all of that technology at once or even right away. It can be much more effective to make small changes over time, especially if your organization is risk-averse or if it's just not up to date with technology. You don't have to start with the coolest new technology right away. Instead, you can start with a solid foundation that you can build on so that in 5 or 10 years, you can start to take advantage of some of these new technologies. It is important to realize that most of the technology you see, especially in demos with all the cool bells and whistles, is way ahead of what your organization will be able to use in the short term. 8. Costs can be high during implementations. As a fifth point, I'll say that the money needed for implementation is excessive. Too often, organizations invest a great deal of money in new initiatives without seeing a commensurate return. The fact that many attempts to make the transition to digital fail is, frankly, the biggest one. They spiral out of control, becoming an endless drain on resources without ever producing any tangible benefits. One contributing factor to the issue is that businesses try to consume too much at once, leading them to purchase and deploy unnecessary software. The other part of the issue is that system integrators are sometimes incentivized to make you feel helpless so that you'll pay them more money to do everything for you. This raises questions about whether or not you're developing the internal competencies you need to be successful. Overspending on the software itself and not having enough implementation support are two dynamics to keep an eye on. There are a few different ways to avoid this problem. For instance, one of Third Stage's services consists of educating customers on how to work with system integrators to achieve optimal results. Please don't hesitate to contact us for assistance. 9. Digital transformation only matters for tech and IT companies. Many senior managers who don't understand what digital technology can do don't know how it can help their business. Some think it only applies to the technology and IT industries, but it's useful in the vast majority of industries and will eventually have an effect on all of them. RFID, radio frequency identification, bands are a good example. You might not think of this technology when you think of the travel and tourism industry, but it can be used in things like hotel room keys, ride tickets, and ways to pay. 10. Digital transformation means updating the website and creating an app. On the other end of the spectrum, it's easy to think of going digital as just updating how you talk to customers, like with a new website or app. The change to digital should go much deeper than that. There are a lot of ways to go about digital transformation, both inside and outside the company. So, before you jump in, it's important to figure out exactly what you want to do. I'm proud of the fact that I can help organizations with their digital transformation strategy. It took me years of experience to get to this point. If you are in the middle of a digital transformation and want to know how to get your team to the end, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm happy to be a casual sounding board for